Billy Red, funny seeing you here.
Johnny Blue. Not that funny, seeing as we're at war.
One might say, the momentous issue of war. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between. My name is Arthur.
My name is Charles.
And today we're here to talk to you about our new game property, the Momentous Issue of War. Yeah. An American Civil War block game inspired by the traditional Kriegspiel style of gaming. And we're going to be running you through a tutorial version of the game. We're going to be using symmetrical forces and a board that we've decided to use before the game. In the book there is a map generation system, which we're not going to be using this time, but it is fantastic and I cannot wait to preview it with everybody.
So you can have either a random map generation or you can just set it up however you like.
Amazing. We are going to be using symmetrical forces as suggested in the tutorial. And we are also effectively playing a live playtest for you guys. And we are 90% done with this game. There's been a lot of silence on our website. But it has been very loud silence on our end. We've been working very hard. And one might say we worked our butts off. So.
Now, you can set up your forces however you want. You can choose whatever force you want within some limitations, up to 6 infantry units, for example. But for the sake of this playtest, just for equality, we've gone for a symmetrical setup of both units and deployment.
It's also worth noting that we are dressed in blue and grey. We didn't have any kepi hats or any cowboy hats, so these are our chosen attire. And
That's what we had.
Yeah, it'll do. We've also got some momentous, you might say, facial hair on the
Oh, this I didn't even notice.
Oh, it took me 1 hour to grow it.
Same. I think you grew it for me.
There's a number of terrain types on the board, which we'll explain as we go, and a number of unit types. But very briefly, we have some settlements, some cornfields, a couple of hills, some fence areas, some woods, and we have rivers and roads.
And bridges.
Some bridges as well. We also have 3 basic unit types on the board: infantry, cavalry, a command unit, and artillery. The game is quite Hollywood and cinematic, you might say.
This game is not about being historically accurate. It's a game. It's meant to be fun.
And we have a few maxims here at Wicked War Games, some of which are game design, some of which are about the playing, and one for us really is that we want the game to feel like a game. So
Yeah. The 3 angles we lean into are fun, historically accurate, and easy.
or fun, realism, and ease. We have on our triangle.
Indeed.
Oh, hold on. Okay. Right. Let us begin. The first thing we do in a game is we roll the tide of battle. To do this, we roll 1 dice for every unit we have on the board.
Oh, right. Now, when you roll the tide of battle, what you want is 4, 5s, and 6s. For every die of a 4, 5, or 6, you may activate 1 unit. In addition, the number of activated dice determines who goes first. Now, Arthur has 4, I have 3, which means he places his activation tokens first, then I place mine. That's a bit of a balance there. He has more activation tokens, but he places his first, which means I know where he's going to, I know what units he's going to activate, so I get a bit of a foreknowledge advantage there.
I'm going to activate this cavalry unit, this infantry unit, this cavalry unit, and this cannon.
All right, I'm going to activate this artillery because I want them on the hill. This artillery, I want them in the forest. This infantry because they need to vacate the forest.
Okay, let's do this. In a turn, a unit may move, conduct combat actions, either firing or close combat, and may also, if necessary, conduct retreats and or rallies. Now, rallies come before retreats, but we'll get to that when we get there. So the first thing I'm going to do is activate this cavalry unit. Each unit that activates does all of their actions before you move on to the next, and I do all of my units that are activated before Charles does his. So I'm going to move this cavalry unit. I'm going to move them around this flank, so they can move up to 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. It's a regular movement for this cavalry unit.
A movement happens always in orthogonal directions, never in diagonal, apart from retreats, but we'll get to that.
I'm going to... Now they've moved their full movement. They may not do any combat actions this turn as a consequence. This unit is on a road and begins its turn on a road, so they can move up to 2 ordinarily, but because they're on a road and they started that way, they may move an extra movement. So they're going to go 1, 2, and 3 onto this bridge here, which counts as part of that road. Again, they've moved their full movement, which was 2, and they've moved their extra movement on the road for 3. They also may not commit any combat actions this turn because they have cancelled that out by taking advantage of the road. This cannon is going to move 1 and 2 into this field, and that again cancels out their ability to do any combat actions this turn.
Note that you may move through friendly units.
Yes. This cavalry unit is going to move 1 and 2 and 3, which is quite an aggressive move. However, I may not commit any combat actions this turn because they've moved their full movement. Then the turn passes to Charles.
Now, in case you're wondering, this is a church, so essentially just a settlement. It counts as cover, but not as rough ground, therefore it does not hinder movement. As previously mentioned, infantry have 2 squares of movement, 1, 2, moving through friendly units.
As a note, they've started their turn off of the road, so when they move onto it, they may not benefit from an extra move.
Indeed. Artillery moving same as infantry, 1, 2 squares. I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. Artillery will move 1, 2 onto the hill. Now that does make them precariously close to your cavalry, but it's a good position, so I'll risk it.
This turn there's no combats to conduct as everybody's maxed out their movement, everybody that was activated, and we're going to do the Tide of Battle.
Tide of Battle.
Tide of Battle! Okay, come on.
Let's do this. That looks good.
Whoa.
6.
7. Just. Okay.
Right.
Oh, no! 6. I counted one wrong.
It's a draw.
It's a draw, and when there's a draw, we re-roll.
Nice. Looks good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, 6. I got 8. Which means I may activate 8 units and Charles 2. Okay, so we're going to go with them again. We're going to activate, we're going to try and push these guys up, take this bridge. These guys, I think, are probably going to conduct some shooting or some attacks. We're going to conduct some combats over here with that unit. We'll get this cannon on the hill, that's 4. We will move these guys to follow up the road, that's 5. 6, we'll bring these guys around here. 7, we're going to put this cannon hopefully in a more advantageous position. And 8, we're going to follow up with our command.
Right. Artillery, they're going to do something. I don't know what. But I love my artillery. Oh. Cavalry, they will also do something. Infantry, close to the enemy, so they will fire. Artillery, always. Let's see, this infantry, I'm sure I can do something with them. Same with them. Wait, I had 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all I have.
Okay. First things first, this cavalry are going to go 1, 2, and I think they're going to stop here so that they can make use of their shooting. And they're going to shoot 1, 2 squares at this cavalry. So 2 squares for cavalry shooting is 2. So in shooting, we're looking for rolls of a 3+, 1 and 2 is a miss, and a 6 causes a break roll. I've got 2 attacks. I've rolled a 4 and a 5, and because they're both above 4, I get a combat bonus, which is another dice.
Now that combat bonus is 4 more on all dice on the initial attack for infantry, cavalry, and commanders. It's a little easier for artillery where you only need 3+ on all dice.
I've rolled a 6 with my extra dice, so before we mark we'll mark these damages first, which is 2 damages. Cavalry's HP is 4 to start with, so that's 2 remaining. And Charles will roll 1 break roll.
Now, the confidence stat of cavalry is 3, so I need a 3 or more in order for them to maintain their composure. Oh, they break.
So that's a broken cavalry unit. They're going to turn around to represent broken. We're going to mark them with a retreat token, and they're going to move back 1 square immediately because they've broken this turn.
Immediately backward. Now, if this space were blocked, just be aware I would have a choice of either diagonal direction. That's the only instance in which you may move diagonally.
Okay, next we're going to do, this cannon's going to move 1, which does nullify its ability to shoot this turn, but it puts it on this hill, which is fantastic. We're going to, I'm going to charge this infantry unit in. Now, infantry can charge from 1 square away, cavalry can charge from 2. Charges imply the momentum of movement, hence you cannot charge from an adjacent square. And I get 3 dice for my charge. Another good thing about this is it engages us in combat, which puts them a little bit out of the danger of these cannons. Charles can still shoot into the combat, but he's definitely less likely to.
Well, the reason for that is that if I try to fire on this enemy now, there's a chance of hitting my own men because they're in melee.
3 dice for the charge. So that's 2 dice for combat and 1 for the charge. That's 2 damages on this unit and 1 break roll.
Infantry have 5 hit points, so they're now on 3. Their confidence stat is 4, so I need 4 or more.
Whoa! So this is an interesting situation. Charles's unit is effectively trapped. He cannot retreat 1 square directly away, and he cannot retreat into one of the diagonal squares, which is one of the situations, the only situation in the game where you may move in a diagonal fashion. As a consequence, because he's trapped, his unit will take an extra point of damage for being trapped. Now, my unit may, if they wish, perform a pursuit, which is basically the opportunity to re-engage with the unit. However, I'm not going to take it in this particular instance. I'm going to maintain this position. This cavalry unit is going to walk into combat with this cannon. And that is 2 dice because I did not charge. I cannot charge because I cannot charge onto rough ground.
However, my artillery is on a hill, which counts as cover.
So it's 1 dice, well noted. Oh, 1 break roll.
Right.
Cavalry's confidence is 5.
Now, artillery is powerful, but it's also weak in defense, with only 3 health points and a confidence stat of 5, so I have a 1 in 3 chance of holding my ground.
Ooh. Now, this is another trapped unit. And
Right.
frankly speaking, this is a fortunate turn of events for my force. In a less populated battlefield, these instances of trapped would be more uncommon. However, it's very interesting to see them enacted in the game.
Right, 3 health total.
I'll remove this
Take 1.
activation token.
Take 1 point of damage.
This unit is simply going to move 2 squares up the road. This unit, 1, 2, onto the bridge. And my commander is going to move 1, 2, 3. Now, because he didn't start on the road, he can move 3 because he's cavalry, but he may not move 4 and get the road bonus because he started here. This cannon is going to move 1 square to this space, and that is my turn.
Right, see if I can pay you back. Let's begin with the cavalry here. Now, they may not charge because they need distance. So they'll simply, they'll walk into combat. So I'm going to place yours at the edge here.
To clarify, I did not pursue Charles's unit here, though I should have announced that. And I now count as being engaged with Charles's unit, as because I didn't pursue, I was unengaged, so I now count as being engaged with this unit here. Okay.
Right, let's do this. Now, a close combat is 2 dice. However, your men are in cover, so 1 die. Deduct 1 die.
Oh, nice.
I mean, still, 1 hit.
Cavalry's health is 4, so that's 3.
Very well. This infantry will move through a friendly unit. See if they can get into a better position here.
Mm-hmm.
They've moved their full movement, so they cannot attack.
Mm-hmm. Good though, because you cleared up this space for retreat.
I know what I'm going to do. These guys are going to move here.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't even fire.
They could.
They cannot because
Oh no.
there is an obstruction both here and here.
Mhm. Yeah.
So they will move 2 squares.
To clarify, if Charles's unit was in one of these, he would have been able to choose to shoot into combat because he'd have to shoot directly through his units in the immediate squares. He won't be able to. You have 1 more activation in which you may actually succeed something, my friend.
Thank you.
Oh,
Right. I'm aware. The artillery will fire 1, 2, 3 squares away at this infantry, which is 2 dice.
Okay.
3 and a 6. One hit,
combat bonus.
and 1 break roll. Ah, and a bonus. I remembered that.
Look how his mood changes as soon as he gets a good roll. Ah.
I do love artillery.
And break roll. Bad feeling. Oh, just. That's a 4.
So, I've now used all of my non-retreating units. Now I conduct rallies.
Pardon me. So to clarify, Charles put activation tokens on these retreating units at the beginning of the turn, therefore he can conduct rallies with them, whereas this one has not been activated, so you'll have to wait until he does so to attempt to rally.
Forgot about that one, but yeah, you're all right. Right, let's begin with this one. A rally roll.
An ordinary rally roll is a 5+. Because Charles's unit retreated in this turn, which is called an initial retreat, and it was trapped, and it could not move, it won't move back this turn, which any unit that retreated from the last turn would do.
I already tried to retreat this turn. Yeah, you're right. So that one stays, sadly. Right, let's try to rally these guys. Now, these guys needed a 5 or 6. However, these guys are within 2 orthogonal squares of my commander, which makes it a little easier. Now I only need a 4 or more to rally them.
Ooh, unlucky.
Now again, they were made to retreat this turn, and already conducted a retreat while trapped, which means they didn't move. But because they already conducted their retreat, they don't move.
If there were any units that had retreated last turn, at this point in the game now, they would be made to conduct a square retreat.
Was that them? I don't remember.
Yeah,
No.
that was an initial retreat as well.
All right.
Tide
Next
of battle.
Turn 3. Turn 3. And